You're listening to Passed Out, the podcast where history, mystery, the occult, and the cosmos collide. Every week we explore new conspiracies, uncover hidden truths, question the impossible, and journey into the unknown. Stay curious, and welcome to Passed Out. Welcome to Passed Out. I'm Josh.
I'm Arash.
How you doing, man?
Good.
Good. What have you been watching this week?
Well, of course, Dexter, but the South Park episode with Charlie Kirk as Cartman as Charlie Kirk, that was really funny. And then
I saw that he commented on that and was not mad.
No, even JD Vance took it well.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay, because the JD Vance part was what I thought was the funniest thing. Like, just having him be like a mini-me it killed me. I wasn't ready for that.
And his fat face.
Yeah, dude, it's so funny.
Yeah, they cover kind of how Clyde starts a podcast and Cartman's pissed off because he feels that he's the OG of hating Jews, and and then it looks like it's. Do you know who Nick Fuentes is?
No.
He's kind of become like the new Alex Jones in a way. He just says some crazy shit. He even like makes fun of his own audience when they send super chats on his podcast. He's under a lot of controversy. He can't even get banking. All banks have banned him.
Whoa,
He can't even have a banking account. Yeah.
So what is he, just operating off of crypto?
I guess. I have no idea.
Like, that's the only thing you can do if the banks won't fuck with you, right? It's just operate in crypto coin.
Yeah, someone sent him a bunch of crypto too a couple years ago, and that's probably worth over $1 million now. But yeah, going back to South Park, Rusty Gnome was covered. Her face was melting. The craziest part was the Dora the Explorer part. I don't know if you saw that.
I don't know about. No, I didn't see that in any clips.
Mackie joins ICE because he needs to get his nut, because he talks to Clyde about his podcast, saying like, "What's up with that?" And Clyde's like, "Yo, I got a subscription to Netflix. I ordered DoorDash. I need to get my nut." And so Mackie's like, and so he joins ICE and he starts deporting all these people, detaining them, and they end up going to a Dora the Explorer concert, and they arrest pretty much everybody there. Chrissy Nope shoots a dog. And then when Mackie goes to celebrate at Mar-a-Lago, for some reason, I forgot why, but he goes looking in all these rooms, and there's little girls giving massages to older men. And one of the rooms he goes into is Dora the Explorer reluctantly giving a massage to some old dude. So yeah, it's
so
it seems like it's going to be another thematic season of South Park, which goes in line with the past, I don't know, 7-8 seasons.
I feel like they've been doing that since probably like 13 or 14, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, like it's
13 and 14.
where you started getting like the full through line through the whole season. Yeah.
I didn't know they only had 12 episodes total during Biden's presidency.
Really?
Yeah, which explains why they didn't really go after him.
Yeah, that does make a lot of sense.
Because that was one of the things that some people were saying were, how come you didn't go after Biden?
Yeah.
And he kind of would have been boring. What, he's sleepy, he's forgetting everything. There's so much more character that you could go with Trump.
Yeah, dude. That's because he says something crazy he says or tweets something crazy every fucking day.
I'm surprised he got mad at it, because Barron Trump seems to have his ear, especially with what happened this week with that executive order for that pretty much allows video games not to be discriminated against when it comes to banking institutions like Visa and MasterCard.
Yeah,
That you could, why would a 79-year-old man care about that? It's definitely
exactly.
his
But
Trump.
his son, yeah. How old is Barron Trump now? Like 20,
I think so. Yeah,
18,
19 or
19,
20.
19, 20. Okay.
And it was his idea for him to go on podcasts, which I think was a really good idea, on Joe Rogan, Theo Vaughn,
Yeah, those.
and now you see like Hash Patel and
Mhm.
people like that going on those podcasts. It's kind of become a propaganda mouthpiece in a way, depending on how you look at it. But it is, it's super useful.
Yeah. Crazy times, man. Crazy times. The only other thing that I saw that I thought was pretty funny from the South Park episode is I saw like Christy Gnome invading heaven. And they were trying to like pull immigrants out of heaven. Like it's just fucking ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
She's upset.
Is she? I didn't see
Yeah, she's
that.
oh yeah, she came out last night and said that it was that South Park's their impression of her is lame and petty.
Well,
Yeah,
if it was, you wouldn't be that upset about it. That's what they want. That's all that they want, is to piss
is
people
to
off.
piss people off. Yeah,
I'm
cause
sure
some
it
controversy.
doesn't feel as good having JD Vance be like, "Oh shit, I made it on South Park." That's kind of like how Charlie Kirk was. He was super excited that he made it on South Park. So would I. I'd be really afraid to see what they do with me.
Yeah, me too. But like, I'd still probably just lean into it. Like, yeah, it's like a caricature of yourself, unless it's Trump, because like he already is a caricature of himself. I've heard that that's not. I heard a rumor yesterday that like that's not his real voice, and
What
that
do you
like he's
mean?
like he talks like a much more normal person, like behind closed doors.
I've seen it. He kind of talks like a mobster.
Yeah, like so like the accentuated voice is like yeah, like inside sources like say behind closed doors like he's a lot more like just like a normal speaking voice and not so animated.
Well, if you ever seen George Bush, have you ever seen W. Bush's, like, before he became president, his debates?
I don't think so. Maybe.
Completely different man.
Really?
Intelligent, making great points. Like, it's amazing that I don't know if it's like he had a stroke or something when he became president, or Dick Cheney was in his ear, or other people were in his ears, and
Dick
he
Cheney,
couldn't
bro.
he couldn't remember all the talking points given to him. But you could see why he was elected governor of Texas a few times.
Uh-huh.
Um,
He's extremely respected here. Like just people still love and talk about him here.
I really think it is Dick Cheney and Rumsfeld who ruined that
Oh,
administration.
absolutely, bro. Absolutely. There was probably a lot of things they could have done a lot better, but
Yeah. Oh, that's a good,
that's
that's a nice way to say it.
yeah. I didn't really want to get too into the weeds on that. So, um, have you seen anything from King of the Hill?
I I heard that Bill's story is pretty tragic.
I haven't watched the full episode yet, so
No,
I will. It's on my list of things to get through, like this weekend and this week. So by next time we talk, I'll probably have seen everything that's out. But all I've seen so far is clips, and every clip I've seen is hilarious. So my favorite one, dude, my favorite is when they show up at Bobby's restaurant when they first get back into town from Saudi Arabia. You were
it's
right,
a
dude.
it's a
It's
German Japanese fusion, right?
yeah, something weird. And like it's a charcoal grill. So like Hank
No,
loses his shit and there's like he's all we can't eat here and they leave. But dude, the way that Peggy pronounces Saudi Arabia is gonna will kill you. Like just
what does she say?
we just got back from Saudi Arabia, eh?" And it's so much. I didn't do that justice. It's so you got to look at it. It's so funny.
Peggy Hill's Spanish is amazing
I
too.
know, I know, I know
Donde
you're really
está la
appreciative.
biblioteca?
Oh, Peggy Hill. Yeah, I'm excited to watch that this weekend. I think the only other thing I'm gonna watch this weekend that I didn't see in theaters that's out on Amazon now is I'll probably watch the new Jurassic Park this weekend.
That's already out.
That is, yeah, dude, movies come out on Amazon like a month later now. Like it's like a $20 rental or something like that because you have to rent it on video on demand because it's still technically in theaters. But like that's how that's how the movie industry is making their money. If they're not making enough money in the theater, they just throw it up for like, hey, rent it for $20, buy it for 25 or $30, and now you have this movie on Amazon that you can watch that's still in theaters. So I'm
That really
probably gonna
started with COVID, huh?
that absolutely started with COVID. That was kind of how they moved, but things haven't shifted back. Like, yes, you're seeing more people going to the movie theaters, but like,
I have
yes,
not seen a movie in the theaters since COVID. So
I
it's been
see
5 years.
I see movies a lot, so I'm probably gonna, but I really only watch like Marvel or DC movies in theaters, and then like if there's a horror movie that we got to go watch in theaters, which we're gonna go watch Weapons. That looks amazing, and it's 100% on Rotten Tomatoes right now.
Yeah, I heard it's not as much horror as
Like thriller,
yeah.
like psychological thriller kind of.
Yeah, pretty
But
much.
I don't know. Every clip I've seen looks crazy, and they're doing a ton of press. I'm seeing Julia Garner everywhere, and I'm seeing Josh Brolin everywhere. So
Speaking of Amazon and Rotten Tomatoes, have you seen War of the Worlds?
no, I have not, and I assume that most people probably won't, based on the reactions it's getting. Which
I want to see it because of like the reactions. How do you get 0%?
I don't, dude. I don't know, man. But like you're talking about a historical story.
Doesn't even follow it though.
I know, but like in the 19th, people thought that Earth was being invaded in the 1930s when War of the Worlds was first broadcast on over radio.
I guess from what I hear, I guess it in a way does, because it's spoiler alert. I am gonna ruin the best movie of the summer for people, maybe, but it really ends up being the government that portrays the alien threat, and
So it's fake. Like
it's like a false flag in a way to um to steal data from people. It's basically an Amazon commercial from what I hear, because he used like Amazon drones to save the day. And it's
they're
doing
like
like
Amazon Compute here to save the day.
Jeff Bezos is against or is for data protection.
Crazy.
Yeah, he is becoming Lex Luthor of the modern world. I thought it was going to be
Absolutely.
Elon, but
Mm-mm.
Jeff even has the look.
Yeah, he does. Certainly, like lives on his yacht
Yeah, with this
that he
Christy
can't
Gnome,
that he can't turn around.
Christy Gnome looking ass wife.
Bro, could you imagine having a yacht so big that you can't turn around in certain ports? Like that's insane. Like,
And
did
I
you
got to
see
put that on my vision board. I don't have a vision board, but if I started, it would be a ridiculous yacht.
ridiculous?
Yeah. What were you gonna ask?
Well, I just was gonna ask if you remember all that, like when his yacht got stuck in like like the Thames River, and like it took them like they had to like disassemble it to like turn it around, like parts of it.
Damn.
Yeah, dude. It's a gross amount of wealth.
If you live on international waters, do you have to pay taxes?
I don't know, man. I'm not sure.
Can you have a PO box? Like, no, not a PO box, but like some sort of mailing address. I guess he really doesn't need it with fucking drones now.
Yeah, he's like, just have the drone bring it to my yacht.
That's wild.
I know,
I
man.
would live on a yacht if I had
I
the money. I
I
would just
would
live on a
too.
yacht for sure.
I would too, bro. Like yeah, if yeah, dude, I would love to have a yacht. Isn't David Gilmour's recording studio is on a yacht, right?
It has been for a
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just like parked in the river out there, like outside of, but
I feel like there were a couple of Pink Floyd albums recorded on that.
I kind of feel like Endless River was definitely recorded on that, and I think that
Yeah,
they
so that
did a
means
lot of
Division
and I
Bell.
yeah, I think that they did a lot of Division Bell on there with I think, in my opinion, underrated Pink Floyd album.
Sleeper for
I
sure.
love the Division Bell.
Yeah,
I was obsessed with that album when we were living together, like 2014,
I remember
2015. Like,
that.
I was obsessed with that shit. But I was going through a really big Pink Floyd phase at that point. I think that was like the biggest, like, I'd always liked Dark Side of the Moon, but like something about those like few years that like I just went down the like Pink Floyd rabbit hole was like, I'm gonna fucking deep dive and good records. I still I really like Endless River, even though people, it's just but, like, for, like, a chill instrumental, just, like, background album, it is so well done. Like,
Yeah.
I don't
It's
think
not
enough people
catchy by
do.
any means, but it's not
No,
supposed to
dude, but
be. It's kinda it is background music in a
I
way.
don't think that Pink Floyd was really meant to be catchy. Like, our obsession with catchy is a rather new thing.
Well, they did it with The Wall when they went a
Yeah.
little bit more disco and shorter songs like Young Lust. Uh,
That The Wall is where you started to see what was good about Pink Floyd break apart. Like, there's great songs
I
on there, but,
agree.
like,
Yeah,
that's where the split happened. Like, the tension on the wall, it created the rift between Roger and David. So,
yeah.
um, which both fucking geniuses, man. But, like, still to this day, like, they can't talk to each other, and they're both frustrated with each other for playing Pink Floyd songs at their solo shows.
Now, what happened between them? Is it
I have no idea.
I used to know this. I I I don't know if it's like one of them became quote unquote an anti-Semite. I think that's Roger Waters because he's like super. I've seen his
Is that what
Twitter.
happened? Just political differences split them up? Like, Roger Waters, like, went which he's always been you can't say that Pink Floyd hasn't always been political, like,
They've
he's always
always been
been
political.
yeah, like, you hear the even Dark Side of the Moon is just very it's really about wealth and greed and, like, uh, how we're losing time as a society and
Right.
just,
It is very
like,
societal.
yeah, so, and then The Wall is extremely political. I think David Gilmour's Pink Floyd is way less political. I don't think a momentary lapse of reason and Division Bell are as political, but like the Division Bell is still he's still talking about issues with like the European Union and stuff that was going on in the 90s.
Now, I mean, that kind of ties into what we wanted to cover about how different the 60s and 70s are compared to now.
Natural
But
segue, I love it.
there's a lot of similarities though, especially with the 60s, like the feminist movement,
Yeah.
um, just a lot of political action or like people against
Protests,
yeah, protests
protesting
exactly.
wars, protesting the government decisions. Yeah, dude, like we're reliving yeah, dude, history. I think you're right when you said history, kind of repeats itself and what is it like a 25-year cycle
You know, I
or
thought it
also a
was
50-year
too, but
cycle?
it well, I mean, it's 60 years since 1965,
Yeah.
which that this always trips me out when you think of the 90s, 30 years prior to the 90s were the 60s.
Mhm.
And so you think about kids who are like 12 or 13 today, and they view the 90s like how we viewed the
The
60s.
60s,
And that
that's crazy.
blows my mind.
That does yeah, it blows my mind too.
It's because, I mean,
Well,
obviously we weren't born yet, but it just seems like such a long time ago, but
dude,
it really wasn't.
and I when you're a kid, I feel like things feel like they were much longer ago. Like, when I was a kid, like, even music that came out like, even in, like, 2000, I thought that music that sounded like it came out in the '80s was just it sounded so old to, like, my young ears,
Well,
you know?
yeah, yeah, yep.
So, like, I could see kids nowadays who are so used to, like, all the electronic and, like, digital production, just be like, hearing, like, a fucking grunge song and being like, why is there, like, no reverb?"
Hmm.
And like just being like kind of just thrown off by the grit of the old recordings and things like that. So
They can hear the difference between the analog recordings, and I mean, it's pretty glaring to me
I
too. There's
can
a lot of
now.
remastered.
I didn't used to hear it as closely as I do now, and I don't know if it's just because 'cause I'm getting better at engineering and I'm starting to understand frequencies and recording techniques and why things sounded certain ways before, but the major difference is I think that yes, I think that analog hardware is better than the softwares, even though I pretty much only use the softwares just because I can't afford the analog gear that I would like to have. So I'm not going to buy cheap versions of it because it's just I'd rather just work in the box than have cheap versions of what I need in here. So and like really the real difference of what you're hearing between then and now is the tape. That's the real difference. If you're
Because it
not
could hold
bouncing
more
to tape,
data, right?
well, it was you had to be clever about how you got the data onto the tape, but what the tape did is the tape naturally sped up the recording slightly.
Hmm.
Or you could slow it down if you wanted to use the knobs to slow it down, but like if you pulled like an old song out of the tape and like brought it in now, like it sounds wobbly. You know, it sounds a little off, like not like how you would mix it now. And like there's just people are so focused on like making everything perfect nowadays that things sound too clean, and I think
Yeah.
what you're like so like what you end up chasing is like the grit of what the old format used to have. Like your people you want 8-bit sounds, well that came from the CD, you know, and then you want like if you want vinyl crackle, like now these are like effects that you just add to your productions because you're chasing that older sound.
Yeah.
Where like we could really just go back to analog gear and still get that sound. I would love to have an analog tape machine in the studio where one day where like we could bounce all of our mixes to that and that's our final is up through a tape master. But you know, the good ones are very, very expensive and very hard to come by nowadays.
And that imperfection is something hard to recreate.
It
Like
is very hard
if
to
you were to
recreate.
try it with AI, it would take a long time, I feel, for AI to kind of perfect that.
Mhm. Yeah. And that look, and that's a criticism I do have of music that I'm hearing that's made by AI. It's clean. Like even the Velvet Sundown, even though they're like trying to make it sound like the '70s, like it doesn't sound like it's from the '70s. It sounds like, you know, it sounds like something that came out of like a children's toy that was just like not really as musical as it should be. Like,
They kind of overdid it too with the amount of
mhm.
releases they had in a
Yeah.
month and a half. It was like
Yeah,
what,
dude.
6 albums?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, that's just way too much. That's not the
That's
market's
like
already
even
oversaturated. Like,
that's even more than hip hop artists, like with their mixtapes.
yeah, these like 25 song mixtapes. I'm like, bro, why you guys got so many songs? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm ever if we have like one album that like we're like, okay, this is like a masterpiece and we have to have these songs on here and it's like 14 songs. Like, I feel like that should be your max. But like, I really prefer to be in the 10 to 12 range. And I don't really think that you should go beyond that because 10 to 12 songs and we don't write short songs anyways. Like I feel like we kind of live in the 4 to 5 minute zone when we're writing. You know, some of our songs come out about 3.5 minutes, but that's the shortest. And that's like, you know, a producer like kind of pushing us in more of a single direction from what the original composition was in those cases. So I just I feel like songs are getting too short, and that is attention span. And that's something we'll touch on as we kind of get into the songs of the summer and compare like the differences between the '60s and the '70s. Since we kind of drifted into a musical part, I can do that now if you'd like.
Yeah, yeah, let's
We'll
go
just
for
go
it.
through it. Oh, all right. So yeah, we're gonna talk about the songs of summer. Essentially, I'm going to compare the 1960s and 1970s to the songs of summer from 2024 and 2025. We can't play anything just because we'll get kicked off YouTube if we do. But I'm going to try and just pretty much every song on the 60s and 70s list are songs that almost everybody should know if you like music. So I'm going to go through those first, and then we'll go through like comparing them to the 2024 and 2025 songs. And I'm not going to talk shit because they're there are some songs that I do really like on the 2024 and 2025 list. You know, I do. I hate to admit it, but I do like my little pop stars and stuff. So, um, so I didn't break it down by year just because it was way too. This would be an hour and a half long podcast if we did that. But so I broke it down by the 60s and 70s. So in the early 60s, you had so the most popular songs of the summer in the early 1960s were the Beach Boys, "Surfing USA," which
Which
great
changed
summer song.
music forever too because of
Yes,
sampling. It was where they were the first band to use samples in their music, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about the Beach Boys. I've never really gone on like a deep dive of them.
Oh yeah, they
Like
were pioneers for that.
yeah, like and like they pioneered some of the guitar tones we still use today. Like the beach sound, like the way that they like use distortion and tremolo and reverbs, like that shit stuck.
I might be overstepping my quote unquote knowledge of this, but I feel like rockabilly wouldn't exist if it weren't for the Beach Boys either.
That's possible.
Because that surf sound,
Yeah.
you really didn't hear. I mean, there were other groups that did it, but I think they were all after the Beach Boys.
Probably because you're talking about the early 60s here. So like there wasn't like huge popular like the billboards didn't even start until like the late 60s. So and like the Billboard charts started because the Beatles had numbers that like nothing they had to figure out a way to track some of these new numbers that were being created.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so,
I didn't
like,
know that.
that's how yeah, dude. They were so popular that they started an entire, like, industry of charting.
Wow.
Yeah. So, other songs in the 1960s that were really popular for early 60s were, "The Twist" by Chubby
Now
Checker.
do the
The
twist.
twist. Yeah. And then the next song to me, like I think in my brain I was mixing up the twist and the next song because the vocal approach is almost the same, but the
Monster
next song,
Mash.
no. Do you love me? Like, do
Oh,
you
okay.
love me? But
I
then you
want to
could
do
go into
everything
the
in a Creed
do the
voice. Do
twist.
you love me? Take me higher
Just got stabbed.
with arms wide open. Do the twist.
You just reminded me. You just reminded me of funny. Have you seen the meme that's like alien and it says alien crying after visiting Earth and the guy's like, so yeah, that was that was Creed higher.
That imagine if they heard with arms wide open. Fucking galactic peace right there.
Yeah. Oh man. And then the last one I have for the early 1960s is the Marvelettes, Mr. Postman. So
Wow, I feel like those
feels like
were like
1950s, right?
50s. Or
No,
yeah, exactly.
like 1961, like early 60s.
See, in
Early
California,
60s.
we had a oldie station called K Earth 101. Um, I think it was nationally broadcast. I don't know if you guys had. Do you remember a DJ called the Big Kahuna?
No, I don't.
R.I.P. Yeah, the Big Kahuna.
I've got a spice in my kitchen called the Big Kahuna.
I've got a thing in my pants called the Big Kahuna. What I like to think is when I worked at a bank inside a grocery store, it was near a retirement community. It was a Sun City, Lake Mead Rampart for Vegas folk. I always laughed at when people were in the stores and there would be like some song from the 50s or 60s playing, and it felt like they would move faster to it. But I always also thought like,
They're like, oh, this doo-wop gave me a pep in my step.
yeah. But I also always imagine like if they were a teenager back then, let's say they were 12 or 13, and you were to show them today's music, how the fuck would they fathom that? You know, you had a time machine, you went back to 1960, and you're like, yo, even if you played something from like Lil Jon and the East Side Boys, Like in 40 years, this is going to be a fucking chart topper. And it's like,
She's like, the sweat went down his what?
what? Skate.
Shahiro, get the shotgun. They're talking about skates out here.
Who's crawling? A female dog? They would be so confused too.
They would be so confused.
And then it makes me think about like if someone from the future were to show me music in like 2070, which is why I appreciate Cyberpunk 2077, because they don't have any artists from today. I mean, they do, but they made them create new artist names for and how they would imagine music in the future. And a lot of it's like weird stuff, just weird genres, and where you could kind of expect music to go. And the lyrics are super weird too. They even use some slang in there that the game portrays.
They're like predicting slang.
Yeah, like choom is one. It's just, yeah, I would give anything to see like if it was even just music, how music is going to be in the future, how it would sound like. One person who really predicted the future of music was Jim Morrison. He knew that it was all going to be computer based, and this was
1970s.
early 70s. Yeah,
When did he die? He died in like mid 70s.
I know he was 27. He's part of the 27 Club.
Yeah.
That's all I know. But yeah, it was I think mid 70s.
I'm actually surprised the Doors were not on this list, but I think when you're looking at songs of the summer, it's not really throwing in a whole lot of like what I would consider more rock. Like even though like the Beach Boys kind of flirt with rock, I would still consider that pop of the time.
Yeah, for sure.
So I
More
think this
disco,
is a very
I would imagine, in the 70s.
very
Right?
disco and pop list. Yes.
Yeah.
So all right, I'm gonna move on. So in the mid '60s, we get into another Beach Boys summer hit, which was "Good Vibrations." Makes total sense. Aretha Franklin, "Respect" came out in the mid '60s in the summer, and then Van Morrison, "Brown Eyed Girl," also a summer song.
Okay.
Yeah. So and then the last summer song that I have from the 1960s is Janis Joplin, "Summertime," famously interpolated on Sublime's "Summertime."
Yeah.
Or "Doing Time."
Another member of the 27 Club, right?
Janis Joplin? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, she was. How old was Bradley Noel when he died?
Look that up. I don't think he was 27.
He was not. I don't think he was. Was he like? I think he was in his 30s, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Like
Have you
31
seen
or
his
something like
son?
that?
Have you heard his
Yes,
son?
dude. His
He's
son's
amazing.
he's crushing it. Like, dude, Sublime's like having they're on a comeback right now. Like actual Sublime with. So now that they've got the son singing, it's not
wow.
Rome's not singing anymore, right?
He was 28.
He was 28, so
He was
close
barely
to the 27.
28. Yeah.
Barely 20. So he was close to the 27 Club.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about Mac Miller. I'm like, he died at 26, bro. Just so close.
You take the average of Mac Miller and Bradley, you get 27.
27 Club.
Nah.
Well, I wish that Bradley Noel and Mac Miller did not die because I love both of their music.
Mac Miller, I would say, is one of the biggest posthumous artists today. People still talk about him.
Yeah. I don't think he's as big posthumous as Juice WRLD, but yeah, he's up there.
Really? You think? I hear Mac Miller's name way more than Juice WRLD. Juice WRLD might be considered like a,
I think it's because Juice WRLD just is like more chart topping. He gets like more public, like big public recognition from big stuff. But yeah, like Mac Miller's fan base is crazy. Did you see how long the lines were at the stadium to get his in Pittsburgh to get his fucking bobblehead?
Oh,
dude! Oh my god, yeah.
Was he from Pittsburgh?
Yes, yeah. That's where.
That.
Yeah, he's like the star of Pittsburgh. Like they love him. So, okay, hold on. Let me just pull this up real quick. I'm trying to move fast. So, I'm going to pull up. So, the Pirates made the Mac Miller bobblehead.
Wait, they were both from Pittsburgh?
What?
Juice World and Mac Miller?
No, sorry, Mac Miller. So
Oh, okay.
Mac Miller's from Pittsburgh, so not
Oh,
Juice
damn,
WRLD.
that's tight.
So they made this, dude, and then the lines. So I'm gonna pull it up on my screen while I'm googling the line. So
And if I'm not mistaken, the Pirates aren't doing too well this season, so this is a great marketing move.
yeah, dude, but like I'm trying to find the picture that I saw that had like the line just like insanely out the. I
The
can't find.
stadium.
Yeah, dude, there was a picture that showed it like on the bridge. There's that yellow bridge behind the stadium. And like, dude, the line was down from the stadium, all down the yellow bridge. Like, all I'm finding is TikTok videos of this, not actual pictures, and I can't share a TikTok video on here.
Yeah,
But
you can.
can I?
Yeah, it's public.
Okay, well, let me see if I can share this. Let me
Yeah,
switch.
just don't make it like the full screen size, I think is the rule.
I'm not sure how to do that.
We're old.
Yeah, sorry guys.
But that
So like, so you can see the yellow bridge,
holy moly.
but can you actually see that going through the
Yeah.
video with me just highlighting it? Yeah, look at this
Yeah.
line to get this bobblehead for Mac Miller, bro. Just we're still not to the stadium yet. Like Pittsburgh, yeah, dude.
Wow.
Pittsburgh
the
loves Mac Miller.
I wonder because I live right next to where the Pirates play spring ball.
Mm-hmm. Oh, their
And
spring training camp is by you.
yeah, so I doubt they would have marketing materials, especially something as popular as a Miller bobblehead. But
Bobblehead. Yeah, probably not. I think that it sold out that first day. Like I'm guessing that probably not everybody in that line got the bobblehead. So
I thought they would make one at least for every, like, if they have 30,000 seats at the stadium, they would make 30,000 of them. But you have people keeping them too and be like, oh, I don't know what
yeah,
happened.
which I do think there was a limit per customer. So
But yeah, one per customer.
yeah,
Because
definitely.
I've had bobbleheads and when I go to baseball games or hockey games, just get like little souvenirs and they just hand one at a time.
But yeah, it's crazy. But let's move into the 1970s for summer songs.
All right.
So in the 70s, I don't have the 70s broke down by early, mid, and late. I got lazy at that point. I was like, I did too much work on
It,
the 60s. Let's
it
just
all kind of blends in.
I know. So in the 70s, I'm gonna hit like the top six. So you've got ABBA, Dancing Queen,
Okay.
obviously. So you called it disco. Donna Summer, Hot Stuff.
I
Working
want
for some
some hot
hot
stuff.
stuff. Yeah. The Bee Gees, Staying Alive.
That's a given. That's what I think about
Absolutely a
with the
given.
70s. That's a song.
Barry Gibb just he hates
Wanna
that
get
song.
down with the way I walk, I'm a woman's man. No time to talk. I want to do
Every
again, Scott Stapp. Dancing Queen. Dancing Queen. Take
um
me higher.
Casey and the Sunshine Band, Get Down Tonight.
How does that go? I know I've heard Casey and the Sunshine Band, but get
Get
down
down
tonight. Oh
tonight.
yeah, get down. Yeah. Do a little dance.
And
Ooh,
then
make a little love. They were kind of getting dirtier in the 70s.
yep, and then and then Chic, Good Times. But Chic also had other hits in the 70s like
Let the
uh
good times roll. That one?
no, the the most popular Chic song is probably "Late Freak." Freak out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I love
I
how
love.
they focused on the bass in the 70s.
I do too, and Chic had a great bass player. I'm fucking blanking his name right now, like I always fucking do. But great bass player. He was so good. Nile Rodgers is Chic's guitar player, so like I kind of worship him. Just like I like that chuckity style of guitar. Like that's how I play. Like Love Knife, fucking When in
Mm-hmm.
Rome. Like I use that frequently.
Mm-hmm.
Is that style? So and then the last one I have from the 70s is classic, but the Eagles, Hotel California, obviously.
Yeah. But you also had bands emerge like, well, Pink Floyd was late 60s, but then Dark Side of the
Yeah, but
Moon
Dark
came
Side of the
out
Moon was
early.
1972. But yeah,
Yeah,
like I
Black
said, rock.
Sabbath started coming out,
Like
Led
I said,
Zeppelin.
yeah. When you're looking at songs of the summer, rock, like hard and classic rock just was not showing up at the time. Psychedelic stuff wasn't really showing up. They were really focused on disco and the pop stuff. So
Rock really became a staple in the 80s and 90s.
yeah, and I think do you think classic rock you think classic rock was more popular in the 80s than it was in the 70s? Or do you think that these bands were pulling huge crowds when they were fucking in the 70s? Like Led Zeppelin
Yeah,
was huge in the 70s, but
but it's just like today, I guess you could say, or it's even less so today. But
yeah.
back then, these types of music were considered the devil, so they wouldn't get that corporate push like you
Also,
would
I
see
would
with disco.
yeah, which but also like I would here's another thing that I did not notice until right now when now that we're talking about it is Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, we're talking about bands from the UK now. Whereas when I'm looking at this list, I think that maybe this Billboard list was only focusing on American artists for the most part because aside from ABBA, all of these are American artists.
Yeah, ABBA, Swedish.
Yes.
The prelude to what would become, well, not what would become, but pretty much
Oh, yeah, they
the
set the
70s version of Ace of Base.
yes. Well, so the 70s in Europe, especially so Swedish pop laid the groundwork for the 90s, basically. Like the way that ABBA was writing pop songs is how Max Martin went and wrote pop songs for Britney Spears, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys. There's a reason that he is the top selling top 40 music writer of all time. So his name's on everything, and
Yeah.
he's Swedish, you know? Dr. Luke is Swedish
I
too.
didn't know
Like,
Max
he's
Martin's Swedish.
yes. Max Martin's Swedish, yeah. He's he trained under, like, ABBA's producer and then came to America and basically created boy band pop,
Why
and
did I think Max Martin was black? Who am I thinking of? There's a I thought there was like some
oh
black
my
dude
god.
who who wrote who wrote almost every pop song too.
Maybe. In the 2000s, yeah. In the
Who am I
2000s,
thinking of?
I don't know. But in the 2000s, you get into, like, Timbaland and, like, fucking, like, all these other
No,
guys, like, writing everything, so
man, I just pictured a black dude in glasses who kind of looked like Wyclef.
no, you want I'll show you a picture of Max Martin if you want.
Wow,
So,
it's like finding out Santa Claus isn't real. I hope he looks really dorky too. Max Martin doesn't really sound Swedish. That can't be his real name.
n it's probably not his real name, bro, but this is Max Martin.
How does he look that young still? He looks like he would be in a Swedish metal band.
He
Like
wasn't a
he's like
Swedish metal band before he became a pop writer.
yeah, he looks like I would believe him more if I saw him on the street. I'd be like, I would think he's in Flames before I believed he's like behind
Like,
every
the
pop
most
song.
popular fucking pop writer of all time.
Wow, great hair. Good for
Yeah,
him.
great. Swedes, man, gray hair. So,
Thank Sweden. What a small country that gave us Swedish fish, Swedish meatballs, IKEA, and shitty pop music. Half the time. Half the time, his songs are good.
I like a lot of it, but I think just as a producer and a songwriter that I, like, am chasing, like, what they did. I'm like, "God damn, I wish I was famous." Like,
Who does he write for now? Do you know?
um, I could probably pull Max Martin production credit.
Because he's surprising. He must have started out really young.
So his artist now is he's got hits with Katy Perry, Taylor Swift, and The Weeknd. I'm assuming that when he started getting hits with NSYNC and Backstreet Boys and Britney Spears was probably his first big hit was Baby One More Time. And
Okay, so that's what,
so
98, 99?
98, so he was probably in his mid-20s when that happened, so he's probably 50.
71,
He's
50,
probably in his
mid
early 50s.
50s?
Yeah, he's probably mid-50s. But, yeah, he's his most notable songs for production and songwriting credits are Baby One More Time, Oops, I Did It Again, I Want It That Way,
Wow.
Everybody,
Wow. You can
everybody.
hear the metal in Backstreet's Back.
You can, dude.
Did he write for Christina Aguilera too? Because Genie in a Bottle, if you listen to the drums, there's so much double bass in it. There's a like if you were to translate that to rock drums, it would be blast beats almost. Well, no, maybe not blast beats, but definitely accents. A lot of accents with double bass drumming.
Christina was okay. So Genie in a Bottle was not written by Max Martin. It was written by David Frank, who his other credits are.
I can imagine he's like in a metal band from Finland.
So it looks like he was like the counterpart to. He was probably the record label's answer to Max Martin on the other side. So like where Max Martin had Backstreet, Britney, and Sync, like where this guy on the other side of that, he's got 98 Degrees, Christina Aguilera, like the other people of the
Okay.
time. So
Yeah, he
interesting.
member of the 1980s R&B group The System. And he looks way more dorky than
Yeah, Max Martin. I know. All right, man, we're already at 48 minutes. Time flies, and we're like barely touched on like half of what we wrote down. I'm not even to 24 and 25. Let me just talk about the songs of the summer real quick from these couple of years, and then I think that's probably what we have time for today.
cool.
Unless there was anything you really wanted to touch on from the 60s and 70s.
Well, we could touch on those later. Because I do eventually want to get into the hollow moon theory and the moon landing conspiracies and stuff like that.
Let's
And
touch on that next week. Let's just
yeah.
let's make next week an extension of this. Let's talk about the 2024 songs of the summer. 2024 was a huge year for music, and it is still bleeding over into this year. From what I'm seeing, is a lot of the hits right now are charting from 2024, and there's a couple songs on here from 2023 still, like Pink Pony Club. Pink Pony Club has been charting since 2023. Crazy, right?
Wow,
Yeah, dude.
that
So,
is.
um, but in 2024, Sabrina Carpenter had 2 songs up for Song of the Summer. She had Espresso and Please, 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 which both of those songs fucking get stuck in my head pretty easily. Not a huge fucking Sabrina stan, but like I respect Jack Antonoff, who's her producer.
Jack Antonoff is like the today's Max Martin.
Yeah, dude,
I
like
was trying to think of
he's
that
one of them.
name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like the guy behind he's one of the Taylor Swift writers. He's probably he's Taylor Swift's biggest contributor. Um but he's also like Jack Antonoff's also got he's also doing Lana Del Rey. He's doing Sabrina Carpenter. He's I'm assuming I saw that Margaret Qualley is about to come out with a record, and that's his wife. So um
Wait, so you're telling me that Jack Antonoff wrote Pink Pony Club?
he helped write Pink Pony Club.
That's so weird. If you just look at the lyrics, you're like dancing in
She
heels.
wrote it.
That's
Like
okay.
he's
He's
so
writing
Jack
the
Antonoff,
melodies.
he's writing the production and helps with the melodies. These girls mostly write their own lyrics. Like so um Chapel Roan wrote that song with one of her friends who's like her songwriter partner.
Okay.
So and Jack Antonoff did like the production.
I pronounce her name Chappelle Roan for the longest time because it
Might
just
be
looks like Dave
I might
Chappelle.
I might be pronouncing it wrong.
No,
So
I think you're right.
um but let's keep moving down this list. Million Dollar Baby was another 2024 song. Um
Uh,
Tommy Richmond, you know it, bro. I know you fucking know it.
I'm sure I do.
Yeah, dude, it was like one of the biggest songs. I've got Charlie XCX written down. I don't have a song picked out, but like I feel like last year, like everybody was obsessed with Brat Summer. So like I think Brat was probably one of the biggest albums of 2024.
Kendrick, Not Like Us,
Not Like
probably
Us,
the
yes.
biggest song
It's on my
last
list.
year.
It is one of the
Yeah.
biggest lists, yes. So it is on my list. That one's huge. And then I've got Billie Eilish, Birds of a Feather, which is probably my favorite song off this list, surprisingly. But I don't care for Billie's early stuff much, but the newest Billie record, I love front to back. This shit's so good. So the production's just amazing, and like the vocal production on her voice is insane. What they're able to do. So it also just trips me out that like most people like naturally want to sing high, and she comes from this like such a low approach, and like they have to build the production around that, and it's kind of amazing. What else came out there? And then I've got the last two songs I got for 2024 are Teddy Swims "Lose Control" and Benson Boone "Beautiful Things."
Why do you think music isn't charting higher this year?
I don't know. So I'll go through the highest charting songs right now. Which it looks like "Ordinary" by Alex Warren, which everybody's talking about the song, and I can't pick it out in my head. I have no idea what this song sounds. So, and then Tate McRae "Sports Car," which Ryan Tedder did the beat on that song, and Ryan Tedder's from he's from One Republic.
Okay.
He's the lead singer of One Republic, but he's also one of the most prominent songwriters right now in LA.
I
Um,
feel like country's making a comeback.
yeah,
Like
Morgan
country's,
Wallen. Yeah, I
yeah.
feel like Morgan Wallen's got some songs on there, and I feel like Teddy Swims kind of is like a kind of flirting between like kind of country rock pop a little bit.
The Jelly Roll,
Yeah, Jelly Roll.
even Post Malone's kind of
Yeah,
taking that.
Post Malone's new album is very country, and I've got a few I've got some Post Malone on here. Um,
Even
More Sabrina
Beyonce.
Carpenter. Yeah, Beyonce's new album was country too. Yeah, people are switching country. Yeah, it's popular right now. I don't get it, but I can't say that some of my riffs I'm like, if I didn't put like metal drums over this riff, I could see how this could be a country riff if you change the production around me a little bit.
Well,
Like,
country's been one of the best selling genres for quite a while, and I don't know if it's because a lot of people can't, not to diss them, but the crowd of country fans, they don't know how to stream or download music for free, so they end up buying CDs.
that's possible, and like those
Kind of a
artists,
boomer
yeah,
crowd.
yeah. So I know a
Who might,
lot of dude. I know a lot. And maybe it's because I live in Texas, but I know a lot of young people who listen to country and are
yeah,
streaming
same here,
country. Like,
same here.
so I don't, like I don't really listen to that. But like my music taste is weird, and I think that's just because like coming from a music production standpoint, I appreciate a lot of things. So like I'm like mostly listening to like emo, metal, fucking reggae. I listen to a lot of UK like R&B,
I've been
but
into vaporwave lately.
yeah. Um So, yeah, just all over the place, I think.
There's so much out there today
I
too
know.
that I think that makes it hard as well.
Well, yeah, we're operating in an oversaturated market. So, like, unless you have a huge label to push you through to the top, like, it's hard to break the glass right now.
Yeah.
So,
And I'm
um,
convinced that these labels just buy views and streams on these
they are
platforms.
they are, and Spotify's in trouble for, like, fucking botting, like, stuff, but who's gonna fucking stop? Who can stop? Who
Yeah,
Nobody can
because radio
stop.
stations have always been doing this. They get kickbacks from these bigger labels, and that's why you see only like 3 or 4 labels covered on certain radio stations.
Yeah, so, um what else is out this year? So, like, other songs this year, did I talk about Manchild already?
No,
Yeah, Sabrina again. So, and then, Bieber dropped a new album, so obviously that's charting big right now.
I heard it didn't do well at all.
Daisies is on the top songs for the summer for streaming right now.
I heard
So,
Drake is also charting well with
he
his
is
stuff.
charting well, but I did not put him on this list because I put Kendrick on this list, so I
Yeah.
was, picking my
Yeah.
fucking side.
USA, USA, USA.
Passed Out's been here for K Dot since day one.
Yep. Yep.
You heard it here first. And then the last artist I want to talk about today is you might have seen her on you watch Theo Von pretty regularly or no?
It depends, but yeah, probably don't know who you're gonna bring up though.
Okay. The last song of summer I want to talk about is Jessie Murph, which she is like a blend of like country, hip hop, and pop.
Well, and
Very interesting. She's got this song called Blue Strips out right now.
and it has rapper on it, Texas rapper. I forgot
Yes.
who is the rapper.
Um on the remix of Blue Strips, I'm not
Yeah,
sure who's on that, but Dude, have you heard of Big the Plug? That's a Texas rapper that's
Yeah.
popping off right now. They filmed a music video on like the bridge in Dallas like 2 weeks ago. Shut down
Wow.
like traffic insanely downtown. And I'm like, we've been on that bridge before.
Tarrant County?
No, in like coming out of downtown Dallas, like right
Okay.
where those bridges are where you're leaving downtown to drive back up the 30 back to Tarrant County. So,
Okay.
but I like Jess Murph. She cracks me up really. Just because the song Blue Strips, okay, the lyrics are so funny. Like just the way that these Gen Z artists are just like framing things
Zoomers.
is so funny. She's 21. She's like going through like a sexual awakening basically, and like her
Wow,
her
that's
whole
creepy
album
to
is
me, man.
it's kind of creepy to me too, but like her whole album's about that. And like but the song Blue Strips, she's talking about $100 bills, like the blue strip that you check
Oh,
like
okay.
in
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
hundreds.
Yeah.
But that song's basically about how her man left her for another girl and then she got rich and now she's like flaunting that money in his face. But her old man is dating a stripper, and she's talking about in the pre-chorus of this song, she says, I'm at the strip club throwing ones at your bitch. And I'm like, okay, you fucking got me. Like, that is the best lyric I'm going to hear all summer.
I like that. I like
I like
that.
it too. So, like, I just appreciate, I saw her on Theo Von first, and like, she was funny, and like the two of them were hilarious together. And I was like, who the fuck is this? And then I listened to a couple of her songs and I didn't like it. And then Blue Strips hit like the streaming services, and I was like, all right, I listen to every I give a listen to like everything I see on like Apple Discovery, just hearing what came out every Friday. And I heard that song and I was like, the production's dope. She has a very interesting voice. And then when I listened to like what she was saying, I was like, this girl's hilarious. She's gonna blow up.
But
She's gonna
I don't
fucking
think
blow up.
it's Blue Strips then with what I heard yesterday, the snippet
Okay.
of, because it sounded like a kind of a slower ballady song.
You probably heard Touch Me Like a Gangster, which is yeah, dude. Which, dude, sounds like a 50s doo-wop. There's a 50s doo-wop section in the thing, but
Imagine going back in time playing that for
yeah,
fucking
dude.
greasers.
Well, it sounds like a fake 60s song, but like she goes into like a 60s doo-wop in the chorus, and the chorus is this bed ain't gonna break itself. And you're like, okay.
Okay.
I'm telling you, it's hilarious.
I'm becoming a boomer with my music preferences too. One, that shit creeps me out. Even if she is over 18, she's 21. That's 17 years younger than me.
It's kind of weird. You're like, that's, like I've got nieces that age, and I'm like,
Yeah.
So I get it.
I don't want to get too in depth with it, but I lost my virginity before she was born. It's just weird. That's how, like, I could be your father.
Could be.
Ugh.
So funny. But I think we're gonna call it there. And we're gonna keep talking about the 70s next week. We're gonna talk about the moon and a bunch of other shit. So until next week, stay curious.
Bye, everyone.